Dugin is, according to Jeffrey Epstein, quote, quite useful.
Oh yeah, it makes total sense too, right?
Let's see. Have you ever, this is 2014, have you ever heard of Alexander Dugin, one of Putin's advisors? If not, reading about him and his views might be interesting and perhaps quite useful. Huh, that's not a good look, huh, Dugin? Epstein thinking that you're useful. What's he talking to his Mossad contact here? Are you useful to Mossad, Dugin? What, with your anti-Western controlled op?
Well, I mean, it's just also
Coach,
very clear how Dugin has been like a very successful like op for Russia's purposes, right? Like you don't, it's like just objectively true. You know what I mean? So it makes sense, and not just Russia's purposes, but just like that whole like elite sphere. You know, like I mean, yes, you could call it like Lutnick, like Chabad, like the Rush, like that whole axis. If there's one person that's been helpful to them as far as like ideological framing goes, it's obviously Dugin is in the lead there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and Epstein was apparently close to Putin.
It's
Apparently
so crazy
Epstein was a confidant of Putin, and Putin's mentioned like 1,000 times in the files.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I got to like reread. I've read Dugin and I've read like Fourth Political Theory and things like that, and I didn't like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm a Duginist or anything like that. I just read it like because it was interesting and other people around me were reading it. So I might have to reread it to see, you know, under this lens, like what's in there. Cause I've never really applied, you know, this type of thinking to them or to that book before.
There was also an email where they're discussing a war between Jews and whites, and it said Jews winning. I forget what that was. But yeah, interesting. Also, hey, Alex, your buddy Bannon, you've been promoting each other and working together. He was very close with Epstein. Dugin, also your buddy who you've been promoting a whole lot and cross-promoting with. Also useful to Epstein. He has a new video I just saw. The war that Jews are in with whites, Christians, in the West. I want to see what they say, if there's some Edom talk in there and what kind of spin is on it. Okay, Dugin quite useful. Okay, here we go. New York Post and Daily Mail reporting new theory about who Jeffrey Epstein was really working for. I'm pretty sure that Jeremy Rothkushel was on the show and talked about Epstein, and he was talking about all of his Russia connections. Epstein's sex empire. Pedophile financier had multiple talks with Putin after conviction, with Russian girls flown in to harvest kompromat on world-famous figures. So we're going to cover, and apparently there was a meeting with Ehud Barak and Epstein. But what is he talking about? He says Putin asked that he meet him in St. Petersburg. He also claims Putin told him that Zelensky was ran by Israel. But it's like, so you're telling me that Epstein and Putin were close? That Putin's confiding in him details like that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I want to look more into the Putin thing. I basically want to read every single email about Putin. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet because I want to form my own opinion on that.
The context does matter. Just because he's in there a lot, like it could be in there a lot, and they're enemies. I'm not saying that's the case, but
yeah, I want to read the whole thing. Like I said, I want to wait until that one. There's this one tool that put it in like a Gmail like skin UI where you can like search the emails and query them as if it's like your own Gmail inbox. Mm-hmm. And when that comes out, I'm just gonna go through line by line of the Putin stuff. It's too hard to do in the UI they have right now.
So here's the Russian stuff. Yeah, it wasn't searching well. They're scanning messed stuff up. Epstein files suggest that Marie Le Pen and France's National Front are largely propped up by Russian money. Have I not been saying that there's all types of nationalist groups that are Russian fronts and Russian controlled opposition? Epstein wrote in 2014 to Rothschild, quote, Ukraine upheaval should provide many opportunities. That's how elites discuss crisis in private. You know, to be fair, this is how investors and people that play the stock market talk about any world event as opportunities to make money on the stock market and investments. Yeah, this doesn't mean that they're behind the coup.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting mad because they're just like seeing how the sausage is made. You know what I mean? It's like low IQ, midway
Yep.
people. You know, I'll even
Every
say
investor
it's like
talks like this.
class
Oh,
thing.
this is
Yeah,
happening in the
exactly.
news. Oh, big invest, opportunities there. Whether it goes up, whether it goes down, there's always opportunities. Big. Sorry, there's like a little bug flying around in here. Any big world geopolitical event, investors are trying to make money off it. But the Russian propagandists are trying to spin this as if like Epstein's behind the coup or something. That's what they're doing. Let's see. Like Luke Rudowski, look. He says the Ukraine war is a CIA Epstein Rothschild creation. Oh, it's not Russia invading Ukraine because Dugin hates Ukrainians and they've wanted to take back Ukraine for a long time. It's not that. It's all blaming the West. Okay, what does he say here? Epstein and someone from the Rothschild family discussed the coup in Ukraine. Everybody was discussing what was going on in Ukraine. Discussing what's happening in Ukraine is not proof that you are engineering it or you are behind it. Luke Rudowski, who's a big Russia shill, who's working with Tim Pool, who was on that tenant payroll from the Russia money. Opportunities. All right. Anyway, that's one of the angles. Also, Epstein lived in the Vatican with Pope John Paul II, assistant says. When he was living with Pope John Paul II in the Vatican, he's photographed meeting the Pope. Also, this is Epstein's Richard Kahn, another Jew probably. Okay, so there's that. He says something, Jeffrey to Epstein, he calls Bannon the honorary Jew. He says, you're an honorary Jew anyway. Now it's no longer Judeo-Christian, just Judeo. Honored, says Steve Bannon. I will drop the Christian in Christian Zionist.
Remember, he did that speech where he says that then. Remember, we played that clip on here before where he says, "Oh, I don't call myself a Christian Zionist. I just say Zionist." That he literally said that after.
I don't remember him saying that exactly. I thought it was just he's a Christian Zionist and he's proud to say it. That's what I remember.
I believe it was exactly what he said in this email, which is he says, "I don't call myself a Christian Zionist. I just say I'm a Zionist." I think that's either he said that or the other guy in that crew. I can't think of his name. Has said that before. Has said that.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of do the same thing too. Might as well just drop the hyphen. You're not Christian. You're just Jewish. Christians are it's a form of Judaism. Yeah, it is Judaism.
You should bring up the which one is it? The Le Pen thing here too. It's in the chat with window with you.
Okay, let's see.
Because that's directly related to this too, right? Like this is what we're seeing. This what I would call like this Bannon connection, this Bannon Epstein connection. I think that this is a big deal because it's showing that he's like seeking advice from Bannon. Look what's in this email. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, Hannity. Where is it? Is it here? London, paranoid, guest work in relationship with Trump, newly ascendant, being seen with me, might queer that. Hannity, Pierce Morgan. This is Bannon? No, Michael Wolff. He's the biographer of Trump that's like anti-Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was having a meeting yesterday with French right-wingers, including Le Pen, husband, about refinancing the National Front Party because apparently a good part of their money comes from Russia. Two thoughts here. These guys seem like idiots. Pure Ruritania and Bannon surrounded by his own thuggish-looking security. Hold on. What does it say there again about refinancing? It sounds like they're funded by Russia, but they were trying to not be all funded by Russia. That's what the refinancing part means.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to steer away from that or something. Well, right. What's interesting is
doesn't change that they're still deeply funded by Russia, though.
Oh yeah, and then in one of the things he said to Bannon, Bannon asked like, "Hey, I'm going to France to speak in Paris to talk at the National Front event," and Epstein's response is, "Well, be careful. I wouldn't speak there. I would just go because it could turn out like a Charlottesville." He says it's like this big rally that the National Front was doing, and Epstein tells him that. He says that it could be like that, and I looked into it a little bit, and that is kind of what happened. those speeches did turn into like a sort of like Antifa versus French nationalists, like, sort of semi riot or, kerfuffle in the streets. So that's just the fact that Epstein or that Bannon is asking Epstein for advice on what to do politically speaking just show that is crazy, right?
Look at the Putin shill. Our house Putin shill here, Zornder Edom, says, who I notice doesn't donate anymore because I hurt your Putin fanboy, your Putin stan feelings, said, Adam, please stop harping on evil Putin and Russians. Oh, we could talk about everything in the files, but not the Putin stuff, huh? That just shows everything about you, dude. Wow. Okay, here's Steve Bannon with Michael Wolff told Epstein the war between the Jews and the non-Jews, and the Jews are presently winning. It's tired of winning. You know who else said the same thing? Remember Kissinger.
Yeah.
Kissinger, war between Jews.
I'll be right back 1 sec.
Okay. I think it was Kissinger. Wasn't he the one that said there's a war in the White House? War, White House, Jews. Yeah. Kissinger, White House war between Jews and non-Jews. Thought so. What he meant by that, I think it's pretty straightforward. The eternal conflict between Jacob and Esau. Did Jay even read the email? They're scoffing at the idea, calling it pathetic, and he's acting like he's vindicated. Wild. But very on brand for a lying ortho bro like that. It's like Christian apologists lie about everything. So, okay, I want to see a little bit of this. Who is Epstein really working for? Yeah, Putin was just meeting with Chabad again, too. Exactly, Zornder Edom. He consolidated power amongst Russia. I got to play the clip, too. I didn't even play the clip. We'll find it right now, actually. Where is it? Shoot. There it is. Oh, no, it's not it. I don't have it. Putin met with Chabad, and they're like, there's no anti-Semitism in Russia. Thank you, Putin, for being so pro-Chabad. He shills Orthodox Christianity, which is the controlled op Christianity, and he's friendly with Chabad, and you still think he's a good guy, Zornder Edom? Volkish Spirit is in the chat. Volkish, I can't believe Jay Dyer is so shameless. He's going to act like he's vindicated off of that. The email disproves him, and he's vindicated. What a fucking fraud. So dishonest. Oh, shit. Emails reveal new theory about whom Epstein was really working for. Cryptic messages tying Jeffrey Epstein to Putin. Emails discuss. Okay, let's see. Where maybe I got to go to read the fine print at Daily Mail. Let's see here. Hold on. Russian girls flown in to harvest kompromat on world-famous figures. Multiple talks with Putin after his conviction. How come everybody... What's funny is they're all like, look, remember I covered earlier in the stream?
Well, that's like, what's his name? Look at Lutnick is like that. I have Lutnick as a liar post in there, too, that you should...
Okay, that's
same
right.
thing with him.
Lutnick.
It's the same exact thing, right? Like, these fuckers... When we play this clip, when you play this clip with Lutnick, everyone should watch this and really, really analyze his body language and the way he talks and the way he's doing this. Rewatching this clip, to me, when I watch this, it's obvious he's lying with the way he tells the story. To me, this is like obviously lying. So like, we need to get our Goyim lie detectors up to realize this stuff like in real time and notice when they're lying. Because this is like I don't know, this is like not very good lying from Lutnick in my view. When he does the thing where, I don't know, you'll see it. It's just so obvious.
We'll get there in just a second.
Yeah.
But I didn't see this email. Funny how all the big Russia accounts didn't share this one. There's one where it talks about blackmail, Russian girls and blackmail. Wasn't the Bill Gates thing too with a Russian prostitute? Bill Gates got an STD from a Russian prostitute and then wanted to drug his wife so that he could give her the antibiotics for it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah, like Putin is mentioned in the files at 1,028 times. So like the idea
Yeah.
that it's been sufficiently gone through yet, I don't think is even possible. So we, because
Right.
we can't like rely on these like Twitter influencers to go through this. We have to go through
Right.
ourselves.
Well, also, like I was saying too, all the big Russia accounts that were doing the bail psyop were all like, Putin called this, Putin called out the Satan worshipers, right? Oh, actually, Putin's still talking and working with Epstein after his sex crime conviction. Actually, yeah, there's the Bill Gates thing, sex with the Russian girls. Okay, let's see. Here's the Lutnick lie now.
Secretary Howard Lutnick, thank you for joining Podforce One. You're a New Yorker. You have known Donald Trump for 30 years. You know everybody. Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right. So we are in number 11 and he lives in number 9.
Right.
So
9/11.
We renovate, we buy.
His company was the one that lost the most amount of lives on 9/11 and I think might have even been the floor that got hit by the plane was his. I forget the name of his company right now, but in the Twin Towers.
Our house, and our house is pigeons.
And remember, this guy's doing the Putin meeting with this guy is so important. People in our sphere have to understand this guy is like a bridge man between Chabad and Kushner and Trump and the whole thing, like, and Russia and the whole thing. Like this guy, that connection is so important. He is like the Tel Aviv, Moscow, Miami axis, I guess you would call it, right? That is like running the White House. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, it was derelict.
He called Epstein the biggest blackmailer ever and denied hanging out with him, and then it turns out he was with him in the emails, right? That's what we're going to cover. Cantor Fitzgerald was his company, right? Thank you, King
Right.
Go-Go.
So we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 2008, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, "Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee." So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
Yes.
right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall,
Right.
right? So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, "Do you want a tour?" We said, "Great." He's
Interesting.
got a really big house.
Every room you went into?
He's got
Biggest house in New York,
so his
right?
house is like,
This is the stupidest way to answer. You can just tell, like I said,
Really?
just watch how he's lying. You can tell he's lying.
Yeah.
How he tells his story. You get ready.
Sometimes
You'll see
when they give stories and they give like too many details,
Yeah,
that could
that's
be a
what- that's what I
sign
was
that
gonna say.
they're right.
Yeah, and then like physically, he's gonna do this thing where he adds like physicality with his hand motions and things like that to the story, and that's how you know that it's just a bullshit story. He's like making it up on the spot too, I think.
All right. Body language expert Amalek over
Yeah,
here.
here we
Let's
go. Yeah,
And,
this is so obviously lying when I watch this.
so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the doors and there's a massage table in the middle of the room
Ooh.
and candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, "Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage?" And he says, "Every day." And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, "And the right kind of massage." Now my wife is,
Sounds about right.
so she looks at me and I look at her. And
My wife
we
is standing
say,
here.
"I'm
It's
sorry,
ridiculous.
we have to go." And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
That's what you told
So
your
I
wife?
was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross. And so I look back.
Oh my
Voicing
God.
the attitude is so
Yes.
bad. It makes it so much
Gave me a
worse.
gift.
Dude, it seems like an act. Like he's pearl clutching about Epstein in his happy ending massages or something.
Her reacting to every single word with positive affirmation is
Yeah.
just crazy. It's just the whole thing. It's
You know who else got busted for doing happy ending massages was the Jewish billionaire owner of the Patriots. The Genesis Award winner, top Zionist, right? What's I can't think of his name right now, but that was his scandal too. What was it?
I said I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember his name.
Patriots owner is Robert Kraft.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Of avoid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my story. A one and absolutely done.
Okay, now here we go. This is the email. So 2012 from Lutnick says, "Hi, Jeff. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's on Monday at some point. Where are you located? For my captain, does Sunday evening for dinner sound?" Oh my God, he's totally lying. "I have another couple, Lerman, Jews probably, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children. 2, 16, 2, 14, 2, 13, 2, 12, and 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks. Come Saturday or Sunday for lunch, Little St. James on the map, behind Christman's Cove. For information, I will let you know what he says." So sounds like his story of going over for coffee and then never talking to him again is a big fat lie. That's big. He should be
He should
not
be
impeached, but
Yeah,
is it
no,
impeached?
he should be.
You should be kicked out for a big lie like this.
Yeah, he should be removed, honestly. But he should be removed for what he's doing with all of his other stuff too, not just this. So
Let's see. Lutnick from Jeff Gross from Lutnick. Fundraising event with Hillary Clinton invited. So that's Lutnick was invited to the thing by Epstein? Is that what? So that is a total lie. Can we visit the island and bring children? He's not bringing his own children to be raped. What does it say about blonde hair? Hold on. No way that's real. Send photos of you and child makes me smile. That can't be real. This is the first I've seen this one, and the letters all look really worse than everything else. You see what I'm saying? Like the quality of it.
yeah, I'm looking it up right now to confirm it.
Yeah, hold on. Donald, beauty contest, Clinton's. This is 2016 too. No way Epstein's asking people to send picture of their child in 2016. Dude, no, I don't believe in Shekelsberg. There's no way Lutnick is offering his children to Epstein. That is not happening. Just look up the ID. What ID? See an ID.
Well, I'm trying to find like a unique part of the wording here. I tried makes me smile, but that's not good enough. There's 45 results for that. Can you bring that back up a little bit so I could just see the wording of it? FYI.
How about you and child? Yeah, the other kids were with
I see it.
Dude, billionaires go on yachts, they bring their kids, they visit their billionaire friends at islands. They're not going there Dude, you think Lutnick's going to let Epstein rape his daughters? You are stupid. They cropped that? Yeah, it's because it's probably fake. I haven't seen any.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the version, and it said, here, I'll send you the direct link, or I'll post it in the Odysee chat so you could get it faster, but that's the direct link to it.
And where is even child? What child are they talking about here? I don't see any. Donald? Both Donald? Okay, anyway, I guess we'll look into that one more here in a second. Oh, here's the other one you shared. You said this is fake Talmud in his office. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Kangmin Lee, another big influencer that's Christian. Let's see. 41,000 likes. Okay, what does he say? Had the Talmud in his office, named his bank account bail. That's a lie. Mocked Goyim explicitly in emails. Very true. Told other Jews to only hire Jews who can prove their ancestry. Could it be more obvious? Okay, so you're saying this is not the Talmud? Is that what the lie is?
Oh, that's absolutely not the Talmud. No, that is not the Talmud. That's like something. It's like legal books or something. There's a bunch of people sharing what that actually was.
I saw other angles and people denying it's a Talmud.
It's definitely not the Talmud, though. I know that. So it's just bullshit. These guys are just so dumb that they think any like set of books that look like that are matching, they must be Talmud instead of the, it could be encyclopedias, legal books, anything like that. They're just guessing. They have no. It's just e-crusader bullshit. It's ways for them to focus on the Talmud over any. Please don't focus on the Bible. Just don't anything but that. Like that's what they're doing here.
Right. Oh, and U.S. Army too. I guess he worked for the U.S. Army. Let the goyim deal with the real world. That's so crazy. So you list 4 points and 2 of them are not accurate. Not a good batting average.
You know, I see a lot of people in our sphere basically like making the argument that, like pointing out the Russian connection or the Putin connection, that's to distract from Israel. And I would just say like I think everyone is missing the point here. The point here is that the Russia,
It's a nexus of
Russia,
both. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's the same. It's the same thing. That's what we're trying to tell people. It's like a one organization or faction, I would say, of Zionists. Is this like Miami, Tel Aviv, Moscow, Lutnick, Chabad, Kushner, all these people? They're all tied up together, and then it's like a web, and that like they're also related to Bannon in a way. They're also related to Epstein in a way. So what we're looking at is that relationship that is, it is. Religiously Jewishly based, right? Like that relationship is based on Jewish relationships, is what I would say. But to point at like either we're blaming Israel, or we're blaming Russia, like individually, like that's to miss the whole point. What we're trying to look at here is like an international network that isn't confined to one state or one country or whatever. Like that's what we're trying to tell people.
On the Lutnick email, though, he lies and says he met Epstein once and he was creepy and he never wanted to talk to him again. But in reality, he's busted emailing him about bringing his children to the island to go hang out at Epstein's island. And like, even though it's not for Epstein to rape his children, it still shows how much Lutnick is lying, that he was so close with him and didn't. The whole story about him and that thing is probably a lie if he's bringing his kids to the island.
Yeah, and this is an important part too. I forgot to mention this. This is very important. What people need to realize is what they did with Epstein is they charged him for crimes against a 17-year-old and then ignored all of the other charges and all the other things. They basically got him for the 17-year-old and like they gave him like special treatment. Okay, so a lot of this is I think it's the Virgin Islands Attorney General and things like that, like their Justice Department. A lot of this is showing that they gave him preferential treatment with that kind of stuff. And what was happening is, and this makes total sense if everyone's just honest with themselves and understands, is that Epstein is like a very rich and wealthy guy who's like giving out money for retarded projects and having parties. And what's happening is he's just telling people like, oh, he's like hand waving his charge away, saying like, oh yeah, it was just like a 17-year-old I was charged with. So like that's kind of like the truth there, is that the charges that he got were like insufficient for all the in the court records we see there was like 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds and all this other stuff that was going on, but he was only charged against a 17-year-old. So what he's telling all these rich people that he's hanging out with, and Lutnick and all these people, what he must be telling them is like, I got caught up, it was only a 17-year-old. And the Chomsky giving advice to Epstein that I linked to here at the bottom, it's Chomsky giving him that advice, basically saying like Chomsky says in that one, in that clip, in that post, he says it's not like you're a neo-Nazi or something like that. You just you just got caught like with an underage girl, and then he's telling people he's telling Epstein that's how he needs to deal with it, right? So you can see like we're all looking at this hindsight 2020, looking at Lutnick and being like, oh my God, Lutnick took his kids to the island. It's like, okay, it's his neighbor. They're both Jews, and you can see how, because of the way he was given preferential legal treatment, he can hand wave it away permanently. Oh, she was just 17. See, that's the real like truth of what happened, is that because he's an elite Jewish multi-billionaire who's got connections to everywhere, he was able to manipulate the...
See here in the chat, they're saying that Lutnick, you have no idea, you'd be surprised what Lutnick would do for money. And it's like, he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire banker. He's not whoring out his 14-year-old daughter to Epstein. That is so stupid. Maybe the only way you could say that is if you're not a father, I think.
So the other thing too, somebody just said in chat, Werewolf Brigade, it's totally right. It's Wexner's money. He wasn't rich. That's another thing that I've been, Breaking Points was going over this. There's like a missing money trail here with Epstein. Like there's no evidence that he was making some of these large, huge trades that you would expect from someone like him with money coming from him. So I agree with what what Werewolf Brigade is saying here. I think that the network and the way he was getting his money was through Wexner and like that whole operation, which again, like Jewish billionaire who's like, I mean, Victoria's Secret. I mean, like, look, they're like exploiting. I don't want to sound like a feminist here or anything, but like they're exploiting women in like dangerous and like disgusting ways. So this is just all part of the same problem, I would say. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, let's get to this rabbi.
Did you have the Chomsky email where he brings that up?
Virgin Islands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Chomsky? Hold on, let me do the Chabad thing, and then we'll do the Chomsky.
Okay,
which
cool.
Which Chomsky?
It's the last link I sent. It's Chomsky giving advice to Epstein.
So here's Rabbi Asher Fetterman, the Chabad rabbi of the Virgin Islands, says, Epstein, my family and I live on the island for the last 8.5 years. We run the local Chabad house as well as a Jewish welcome center. We have grown tremendously over the few years and have touched tens of thousands of Jews visiting the island, blah, 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 Jewish campaign. I have heard that you are an extremely generous individual. It would be my honor to meet with you when you have time and share with you our accomplishments and future plans. So this is who funds Chabad, is they do this outreach to every Jewish billionaire, secular or not. What year was this too? 2014. Is this after he was arrested?
This is before. Oh, for the 2019 charges, I think this would be before. I think, I don't know for sure though. But this is how they've always operated. If you like type in or just like start searching like Chabad commercial fundraisers and things like that, you can find like during when the show Friends was on, for example, like Friends was doing Chabad charity work and all these other things. Like this is how Chabad has its power, right? Is that even secular Jews or quote unquote secular Jews and basically like live to Chabad. Like this is happening constantly. Yeah. That's always how they've been.
Okay, I'll do your one thing. Last one, giving advice to Epstein. Let's go. Chomsky died, right?
I don't remember now. Did he? I've read his stuff. I can't remember.
Oh, this is a long one. Chomsky gave Epstein advice on how to outlast the pedophilia allegations against him. Anyone running interference for Chomsky at this point needs to be thrown in the garbage. Despicable. He says, ignore it all.
No, Chomsky's still alive. But yeah, hold on. Look at the middle paragraph where he says that's the important part.
How do you?
What the vultures clearly want. That's the part that matters. Look what he says.
Venomous attacks, publicity seekers are cranks of all sorts, which are impossible to answer. How do you prove that you are not a neo-Nazi who wants to kill the Jews or a rapist or whatever charge comes along? Why would he say that about Epstein?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's using that as this is how they view calling someone a neo-Nazi. Like
that it can't be denied.
Yes.
Yeah, they can do it and we can't, and they can get away with it. They know the game of calling everybody a Nazi. Yeah, he says direct it.
That's particularly true now with the hysteria that has developed about